This was really infuriating, and we may have to play it while I go pee. There's this woman, she's known as Queen Laquisha. If you're not interested in global politics, you probably haven't heard of her. Not Queen Latifah, but she is the true president of the United States, and she tells Kamala what to do. More importantly, she owns all 7 continents, and she's a sovereign citizen who has membership to all of these countries but rejects them all as the president of the world. And she points out a lot of truths that people on Frontier Airlines ignore. Like, for example, the pilot is often fresh out of the bank, and the airlines don't tell you this. You also have these people totally trivializing her beef when she's made it clear her plans are to put us all on boats. So I like how these people laugh at someone who owns all 7 continents, yet is not going to be laughing when they're put on boats, which is happening shortly after the next pilot gets out of the bank. So the audacity here of these people ignoring this woman are alarming. I'm going to go for my second pee in 10 minutes. I apologize.
So you would stop the fight. Laugh now. I am the president of this whole goddamn country. Watch you see the TV news. That's a damn bona fide word. Yes, I need to get off this plane, and I'm gonna tell you straight up, don't you ever come against nobody because of their skin color again. You had enough time. I seen Frontier do illegal stuff several times. I've been riding you for the last 8 years. Don't tell me. You had enough time to stop that, tell a pilot to not go. You just released him from the bank. I saw it out the window. I know it within my heart.
We called him, and as soon as we went up there, we called him. We told him that he was already on rapid communication. They were already starting to push us back, right?
That's a lie from the pit of hell. Where you get it from? Let me tell you, what's your name? Cynthia, and your last name? Thank you. I am an affirmed sovereign ruler here in the government. 7 continents I own. Keep laughing. Watch your ass be right on a boat. We shipping people out just for a nice group of expedition. What comes around goes around. This time now. Keep laughing. Watch what happened. You'll be expired just like your battery on your watch.
That's a good line. I'm stealing that at the gym. Next time Larry Barnes goes, I will drop you. Wait, go back. I think she might have the most racist head I've ever seen on a body.
Hi, this is Anthony Cumia.
And hello, I am Gavin McInnes.
Together, we're Compound Censored.
And we'd like you to subscribe to our network that has more fantastic content you could shake a stick at. Use this promo code for a one-time super offer.
Do it. It's uncensored and oh so entertaining.
Like zoom in, and we're obviously going to lose a lot of resolution here. Or I should say not gain any. But like, what is that? If that was a doll, if that was a figurine on your front lawn, you'd be known as a racist person.
Yeah. It looks like something from Göbekli Tepe.
It looks like that black Americana that Whoopi Goldberg and Spike Lee collect. I used to try to buy it, but it's so fucking expensive. Oh, she looks normal there for a millisecond. Maybe she's a shapeshifter.
Whoa. What's happening there? That's a full backpack of stuff.
What is?
That's a full piñata on her head.
Yeah. What is that? It's like a bunch of dreads and colored yarn and then wrapped in like a bunch of scarves, I believe. It's just an arts and crafts room.
It gets longer the more you look at, like, look, from this angle, it got longer.
It's just a pile of stuff. Like, sorry, ma'am, you only are allowed to have one carry-on. That's all I have. Well, you have a backpack on your head, so that's 2 carry-ons.
I would have a lot of fun with this. You just play along and you're like, yeah, we did release the pilots from the bank, but the crypto source is generating a field.
Yeah.
And you're being sucked into it.
If I was the flight attendant, I'd be like, excuse me, people, this woman owns all 7 continents. Now, if you would like to become incontinent, then continue your mockery, and I will put X-Lax in your food. Sorry, Queen. Slay, Queen, slay.
Continue to sway. Well, that's weird. What a quinky dink. The first meme is of Rogi. I guess he is connected to this.
That was a weird time in the 90s where guys were totally okay with turtlenecks, including the guy who did my back piece tattoo, Anthony Civarelli of Gorilla Biscuits. Civ.
Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah, I saw some picture of them on tour in Europe, and he was wearing that exact outfit that you just showed, and I was like, dude, Civ, what is happening? And he goes, it was cold. No. You can wear a turtleneck on Halloween as a joke, but wearing a turtleneck in real life with like a jacket like that? Unacceptable.
Who the fuck?
Yeah, maybe he's had it deleted from the internet.
That makes sense.
Because he's cool in every picture there. Look up Gorilla Biscuits European tour. And maybe we can see that. Can you spell biscuits?
Of course. I'm one of the great spellers of the world. I lost from one word. It was a silly mistake, but I did a spelling bee recently. And I was the second place.
Where? What? How?
Online.
With like who?
With a bunch of like internet celebrities like Sylvia from Fish Tank.
What was that show?
I think Ethan Ralph was on it.
Why don't you promote that on this?
I don't know. Who cares?
Okay. Well, any pictures of the band there?
Let's see. Maybe on their site, do they have like a?
I don't know. There's one in the top right. He looks pretty cool there. No, next to that. That's on stage. This was just
this
like
one we saw already.
A band photo. Yeah, wow. Maybe he had it deleted.
Makes total sense to me.
I would.
I'd get
it
that.
Was the worst picture I ever saw.
That's an interesting look. So I have a sweater like that you gave me, Fred Perry.
That's fine. V-neck sweaters are good for formal wear.
But with a shirt under it, I don't like the look. It kind of
it's got to be a collared shirt underneath a V-neck.
Right. Is that a collared shirt? Can't tell. I think it is.
It is. This happened on the weekend. I thought it was kind of weird. Remember the Dorito thing with Governor Whitmer where she's mocking communion, though she completely denies that, and there's no other explanation for it? But I was looking at the chick, and I'm like, that's one of the hottest women I've ever seen in my life. And I realized that's Liz Plank. And then it's funny because she's a super feminist. She's 34 and childless and perfectly happy with that. I honestly hope she's a lesbian because it's such a waste of a hot Montrealer to not be getting slammed by a wonderful man she loves. So I want her to be a lesbian, so it's not a waste. But she's 34 and childless and straight. That's heartbreaking. But then on Saturday, it's a rerun from 2016, and the rerun is Filths. Feminist I'd like to fuck, and there's Liz Plank. Isn't that nutty? That's Liz in that video. And she's obsessed with abortion. There she is, looking fantastic as usual, and talking about clinics that aren't clinics, these religious places that hope to get a pregnant woman and hope to convince her not to kill her baby. That's what she's devoted her life to, exposing people who want to thwart abortions. You can just play it on that page.
Hey, look, a Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, no, that's a fake Planned Parenthood.
What are you talking about? It says Planned Choices and Women.
Use all of those words on purpose to lure unsuspecting pregnant women into thinking that they're going to be offered all the choices, but they're just going to be convinced not to get an abortion.
Choices.
Okay, well, if they don't offer abortion, then why does their website literally say that they do?
Wait, go back to her
they're
main
lying.
Instagram page. Has she lost her looks? Uh-oh. Was she fucking him at least? Or is that some, like, Vote for abortion. Plan B. Did you fuck a black guy behind a dumpster and have to get an abortion and now you're so thankful? Go back up to the top, though. Don't click on that middle one, but let's zoom in on that. This is it. This is how it begins. The laugh lines. By the way, I like that look, but it is the beginning of the end. 34 is when the hourglass turns upside down with the looks. I think they look fucking great. Don't get me wrong. But the sand is slipping through the hourglass, and in 5 years, her looks will be gone. And if she was married, her husband would not give a flying fuck because he's madly in love with her, and she gave him children. But when you're out there courting as a 40-year-old, that's a no. Sorry.
It's like the opposite of this chick who's been going around virally. Talking about her daughter was gonna die, but she figured she carried her in the womb anyway because
that's
she was safe
pretty
there.
Intense.
Yeah, but she was like, otherwise it would have been like killing her, but she was gonna die anyway, so she kept her in her womb where it's warm and safe.
Yeah, I saw this. And then I guess it was a stillbirth?
Yeah.
Why would I give her such a painful death when she's perfectly fine with me? I said, today is the first day that I felt her kick. I already love her more than I can even express. Not that I didn't love her before. I loved her so much before, but feeling her kick is just... My baby was in there, and I couldn't bear the thought of having her removed.
Thanks, Ryan, for bumming everyone out on Casual Mondays. Speaking of the childless, word on the street is Anna Kasparian is coming over to our side. This is a woman who said that I have a small dick because I think women would be much happier at home. She is now reaching that age where women realize I was right. They realize that I wasn't saying that. Like Bill Schultz said, oh, Gavin says that everyone should get married and have kids because he did, and he can't go out and fuck and lead my gay lifestyle, which is what Bill does. No, it's because I've seen these women reach 40 and go, what the fuck have I done? And I think Anna has finally arrived at the end of the line. And I'm standing there at the finish line going, I told you to cash in your chips earlier, but you're done. The movie's over now. Yeah, that's a better analogy than the finish line. Finish line implies you accomplish something. This is the end of the movie. Credits are rolling. And you're like, I want to go get popcorn. The concession stand is closed. People, you can't even go back that way now. You have to go at the exit. It goes onto the street. So speaking of the street, a conservative is a liberal who got mugged. And Anna Kasparian was walking her fur baby. That's all she has. No boyfriend, no lovers of any consequence who give a shit about her. She just has her little baby dog that she walks, and she probably cooks him dinners. What these women do when they get to this phase is they start making like chicken and a good meal you would enjoy. Farmer's dog no longer cuts it, and they want to make him a meal that they would make their child, because it is their child. But yeah, she was molested. I'm sure you've seen this, but let's get it up here for posterity.
In 2022, it was around March. I was walking my dog. It was not quite dark yet, but the sun was setting. As I'm walking my dog, I see these two guys that were just kind of like moving around weirdly. You know, They seemed kind of manic, and their clothes were tattered. So I knew that they were probably homeless. And I also knew that they're probably on something just based on like the twitchy way they were acting. But living in LA, I mean, there's homeless people everywhere, right? So I've never had problems. I didn't think anything of it. But as I was bending down to pick up my dog's mess, one of the guys like grabs me by my hips, and he had an erection. Oh God. And just starts like humping me. And I didn't know what to do. Like I was terrified. I didn't have a weapon on me. Yep. Like I had no way of defending myself. I didn't know how far it was going to go because it's two guys. I'm by myself with my little dog. It was one of the most terrifying things ever because I'm pretty good at defending myself. In that moment, I just knew there was no option.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily, he stopped, and they just laughed at me and walked away as they were laughing at me. And so there was the fear, and then the humiliation, and weirdly shame. Like I felt ashamed for some reason, and it was awful. And it was really taking a toll on my mental health because I have to walk my dog, right? So at least 2 or 3 times a day, I'm going outside kind of scared. And so I opened up about this on the show, not really thinking much of it. And before I know it, I'm starting to get these messages, and it's like really, really harsh stuff. And it's about how you are painting a picture of the homeless community. You know, how could you be like this? You know, these are unhoused neighbors and they need help.
Welcome to the dark side, Anna.
Me of being racist when I had never disclosed the race of the individuals who did this to me.
Use that hate.
They were white. And
the
so
anger is an energy.
Being racist, I'm like, wait
it's
a minute.
a power within
Why are
you.
you assuming that the people who did
Use
this
that.
like, I think you might have a problem here.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
They haven't
that woke me up because I'm like, oh my God.
They eat their own.
They eat their own. My favorite part of that whole thing, too, besides the humping, which made me horny, is that they called her racist, and she never said the race of the 2 guys. That's the left in a nutshell. Which brings us to Happy Columbus Day. My name is Gavin McInnes. I married a Ho-Chunk Indian, member of the tribe. My children are, all 3 of them are members of the Ho-Chunk Indian tribe, registered members, DNA test, the whole thing. So my family, my immediate family, the family I live with, is 75% Indigenous. I think it's interesting that in my liberal community, they talk about Black and Indigenous people quite a bit, although there are maybe 4 Black people and my family is only Indigenous one. But when it comes to Columbus Day, we celebrate Columbus Day at my house. I made it very clear to the children that the Indians were not peaceful when we got here. And I don't even like that bullshit hippie narrative because I want my children to know that their team put up a fight that makes the Nazis look like the cover of the Hollywood Reporter. We fought the Nazis for 3 years with less money than it took to build Obama's Medicare site. We fought the Indians for 320 years. How many generations is that? 8? How many generations? Look up that. How many generations is 320 years? Maybe it's more like 4. That's generation after generation of old ladies on their deathbed going, well, I guess we lost this one, boys. 10 generations in 250 years. Okay. So like 12 generations, 13 generations of people that say those guys kicked our ass. Eventually, we took over and won. And they say that, you know, we trivialize that. We've always loved the Indians. Like the Nazis are not admired by maybe by Nick Fuentes. But as far as like, we don't name our car the SS Wotenwaffen. We do have a people's wagon, a Volkswagen, but we named our cars a Cherokee. Geronimo, you yell when you jump off a cliff. You know, that we have Tomahawk missiles. The Cleveland Indians, the Braves, fight like a brave, don't be afraid. Every fucking town in New York State is named after an Indian tribe or has some weird Indian word. It's almost impossible to name the places on Long Island. Ronkonkoma.
Weehawken.
We worship Indians. We think it's the coolest thing in the world. We've somehow turned that reverence into pity, though, which I don't want your pity. It's sort of like Snoop Dogg saying that showing roots was us laughing at blacks and mocking them for being victims and slaves. Weird take. It's not, it's the opposite, Snoop, but whatever. But I don't like the whole, they were here and we just grabbed their land. Like the Comanches, for example, were pussies when we first got here. Then they were introduced to the horse, and instead of eating it, which many did, they sort of retreated and then for generations trained to be warriors on horseback, and then they proceeded to fuck us up in a big way, worse than the Apaches in Texas. But this notion that they were peaceful here, no, there was tons of mass graves. This is well documented in the book, The Myth of the Peaceful Savage. Empire of the Summer Moon also was very honest about it. I hear the dude who did Yellowstone is doing a movie so that'll be exciting because it's a very fair book. I talk about it way too much. But, you know, what are they called? The Natchez tribe? The chief was called the Tattooed Serpent or something. And parents were sacrificing their children to him, strangling their babies, killing virgins. They would kill, when a chief died, they were killing his servants and his wife so that she could be with him in the afterlife. When an Indian would die, the other tribes would shoot him with arrows so much that he would be unrecognizable. So in the afterlife, he'd be fucked because they believe that you have to bring all your shit with you to the afterlife. I think Catholics believe the same thing. That's why cremation is only recently deemed acceptable, because you don't want to, like, they sweep you out of the crematorium with some Chinese guy's balls. So if you're reformulated when you go up to heaven, you're going to have like a Chinese dick hanging off your shoulder because they mixed up the ashes. Well, my mother-in-law, her sister lost her thumb. They all get diabetes, probably because of their shitty diet. And they had to keep the thumb in the garage in a bowling bag in a jar. So when she was buried, they could put the thumb in the grave, and then she could get her thumb back when she was in the afterlife. So it was not a nation of sweeties when we got here. And Columbus had nothing to do with North America. Columbus came all over Indians' faces. No, Columbus came in, 1492? And he discovered Barbados. Okay, he discovered the Caribbean. He discovered Jamaica. And it's weird that the American Indians have this kinship with the Aztecs and the Tainu or whoever was down there. I think they're not related at all. They don't look the same. I think Aztecs came from the south, like Polynesia and stuff, and came up through South America. I think the American Indians were related to Asians and came through the Bering Strait. That's why they have eyes like this. Like, people assume my kids are Chinese, especially my youngest boy. Because the Mongolians, the northern Chinese, they look like that because they didn't want to go snowblind, or at least the ones who didn't have eyes like that couldn't fucking see anything. That's why Ryan looks like a little...
He does. He's the one with the slanted eyes.
At my daughter's school, they have not my daughter's school. Well, her old school, but now it's my youngest boy's school. They have this mural of all these great Indians. And it's like, they're all pretendians. It's Buffy St. Clair and the guy who cried about the garbage. Did you see this latest one? It's in the fam chat. He's really good. He looks exactly like 100% of my Scottish cousins. And there's a really cool group out now called, what are they called? I'm sending it to you now. I'll text it to you. Something about authenticating Indians. But it's a cool acronym. What are they called? They're called Tribal Alliance Against Frauds, TAAF. And this guy, who looks exactly like my cousin Colin, his name's Paul Driscoll, but he calls himself Paul Edward Quo Lee Driscoll, and he is a two-spirit that uses S/he and her, HIR, and they, them pronouns. It looks incredibly complicated. I don't even know how to use any of that shit. But look at him.
We had a term for men like this.
What is that? Yeah, that's a good one. You know, the Indians had a word for someone who was gay. Oh, yeah, I think I heard about that.
Two-spirit.
No. By the way, you know what I read about the two-spirit recently? The Indians avoided two-spirits like the plague. They weren't like, oh, good, a two-spirit is here. They're like, uh-oh, that's two-spirit. Make sure the kids are not hanging around him too much.
We would call them that because we would saw them in half. It would be two.
We would chop them with our tomahawks. We had a guy on this show. If anyone can help me find this, our search bar sucks. But I think it was back when David Cast had Ryan's job. And he went to a school that was in Santa Barbara, I believe. Like not too far from LA and near Malibu or something. And I almost went there when I was down there for my wife's family reunion. And they removed the Columbus statue from the campus, and it was really retarded because the whole campus sort of front area had all these paths, and then in the very center of it was this pedestal with this picture of Columbus. They remove it, and now you have all this like architecture relating to something that's not there.
Is that it? Sacramento?
That's the California state capital, according to the headline.
You said California, though, right?
Yes, I did, but I also said a college.
Oh.
But wait, go back to those extra stories. Maybe they found the college at the bottom there? Related stories?
No, but that fits the bill of like there's a bunch of stuff surrounding it.
Yeah, well, that's often the case, but this was more egregious. So I'd love to get an update from that guy. I wonder if he's watching right now. But yeah, the fact that we can trivialize this is really a good example of the war on meritocracy. If you're circumnavigating the globe, you're headed to Asia. No one's ever done this before. He was so determined to do it that he left Italy and ended up, the King of Spain said, fine, do it. They're on shitty little wooden boats, and they do it. He thought he was in Asia. This whole thing when he thought he was in India, that's why I said Indian. No, Indigenous. That's why that word is the same. That's a mistake, a misnomer. But yeah, he ended up in the Caribbean. And the notion that if it wasn't for him, no one would have discovered North America is a bit of a stretch. Plymouth Rock and the Italian guy via Spain going to the Caribbean, pretty sure that Europeans would have ended up in North America without him. We had Magellan after Columbus, who did an even more thorough circumnavigation of the globe. So it's kind of bad logic. And a big part of the destruction of the Indians was just the plague. We came here in the Caribbean, and I believe he infected the natives accidentally. You know, Europe had already survived a plague that wiped out, in many countries, almost 50% of the population. So we have this incredible immunity from that. And then we came there, the Indians didn't have it. The pollution, the biological pollution, inadvertently, accidentally, went up the West Coast, up all of North America, and then moved east and devastated them to the tune of like 80%. And that was an accident. And more importantly, an inevitability. So I'm sorry. Now, he did do horrible things. He would cut out their tongues if they didn't get enough gold. But you got to understand, just like I was explaining with the parents strangling the babies there and with the American Indians, that was the vocabulary of the time. Like when Christopher Columbus got there, there was a tribe who was begging him to help with their cannibalism problem. They were getting eaten by a neighboring tribe. So when you're dealing with cannibals, the punishment has to be severe. Yeah, but even Columbus said he went too far. Okay, whatever. Let's see you cross the ocean with the greatest boat available known to man in 2024. Let's see you do that.
So if you enjoyed that clip,
then subscribe to Compound Censored using this promo code.